So Mario, firstly, welcome back to Scotland. How are you settling in for this visit, and how have you found your time back in Dumbarton? How's everyone been with you?
Very busy, very busy. On top of that, I just moved at the same time. We had the sponsors night. There's discussion for all sorts of people, new suppliers, things like that. So you don't sleep. Like I haven't slept for the last 2 nights because of the energy level. I didn't sleep too much.
So the last time we spoke, on one of these, was after the opening day match against Clyde, a win. So we went on to win 4 of our first 6 games. You were obviously watching on from Canada. How proud did it make you to see your team, that it's your team, winning these games and be able to watch on from afar?
Everything was going well. I think the fact that the players were still gelling, still not knowing if they were on the roster, not knowing if they were, going to get more minutes and stuff. I think their first 6 games were very good. I like an aggressive kind of play, so I like headers, I like elbows and things like that, and I thought that was a great start. And on top of that, if you look at that 5 points. We were like second and third and something like that.
Going straight away.
It was going very well. Yeah.
So obviously there's been a lot of discussion with the supporters since the campaign began. Going into it, everyone was sort of thinking, if we can avoid that bottom spot, we're going to be happy, and then the good start, and everyone starts to, raise their expectations. So the last few weeks haven't gone quite as planned. What would you say to the support to kind of keep the mood high? What would you say to kind of keep them rallying on?
Well, you have to believe it. I mean, we have the right people at the right spots. And I'm not talking about at the roster level. What I'm saying is that Stevie is an experienced coach, and Neil Watt is an experienced man completely on top of that also. And those two have meetings every week. I've had meetings with them this Monday also. And basically, people will say, "Oh, let's throw money into it. Let's throw money into it." This is not the way we're doing it.
Needs to be sustainable.
Basically, I asked them, bring me a project. Why? The last 6 games have been a little bit soft. Okay, where are we at? Why are we weak? And these spots. And what's the adjustments? Is it formation? Is it man? Is it whatever it is, right? But I tend to work on the tomorrow and after, and they have to work on the present and the football aspects. I don't touch so much football.
Yeah. No, of course.
Or else I'd be too emotional for it.
So you mentioned there, you and the manager in regular dialogue, where you're happy with how things are progressing and the plan in place. Yeah.
So I just want to expand on that. I talk to Stevie at least once a week. And Neil Watt sometimes once a month, maybe twice a month, okay? Because it's really up to them to have discussions and stuff. And so for me, I don't have to look so much, I focus on that so much because there's so many other things to do.
Yes, of course, of course. So just finally, I know you've had some time to kind of learn Scottish football. Do you understand how important it is for this team to stay in the SPFL? And
of course, because nobody comes back.
Yeah, that's exactly the point.
Once you go under, it's very rare that people come back. Obviously, some people do, right?
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of money to come back because the playing field is too wide at the bottom. Yeah. And that's why it's going like this, right? A triangle is like that, right? And the fact that if you go under the League Two, it's gonna be very hard to go back. Yeah.
So enough on the sort of on-field stuff, as you mentioned. That's sort of Neil and Stevie's sort of thing. So just kind of touching on football, we obviously got past Tayport in the Scottish Cup, and we have Auchinleck coming here to the Rock. How much would it mean to this club financially and just on the park to get through this round and get a draw against one of these bigger teams and have them maybe come down here?
Well, I think everybody understands that the cup games are almost revenue streams by themselves, right? So you want to go as far as you can, and you're hoping that your squad takes it as importantly also. And you can see, we have a kind of a squad for the games and a squad for the cups.
Yeah.
And that's to make sure everybody gets some time and things like that. But at the same time, you have to remember it's a revenue stream, and it's an important one also.
So this is probably a bit of a heavy-hitting question. Just in terms of financial health, we all know what sort of situation the club was in before you took over. What's going well now at present, and what areas remain a challenge for you?
What's going well is we went from a handful of sponsors to now maybe, I'm guessing, yesterday in the room there must have been at least 30 different people there.
That was a sponsors night yesterday?
Yeah, that was a sponsors night yesterday, and it went well. In the sponsor night, we basically explain what we want to do for the near future, what's the new stuff that's coming out, and they know now more things that are going to be presented in the press conference on March 5th.
Yes.
That's further down. If you look at the good things, everything is, you got to be positive, everything's going well for that. We're still burning money. People asked me again yesterday how much burning money. In the 4 months, my first 4 months now, we're burning a lot less than what used to be, but we're still about 19,000 pounds every month under on average. But don't look at this as oh my God, what's going on? No, this is a normal thing, and we're going to bring it down as we increase the revenues.
Excellent. So you spoke about the sponsors night. What do you look to achieve from nights like that? What are the aims for the club hosting these events?
It's important to have the sponsors to know each other also, okay, so that they can help, because they're going for their business too. They want to grow their business too, right? So putting them all together, it's kind of a rally also, a little bit like a huddle for football. When you're going, okay guys, let's go, and this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. This is what happened yesterday. Basically, we had a few of the hosts that said, this is where we're at, and so on. And me, I came in the last guy for about close to 45 minutes of talking just about the future.
Yes.
And the near future, not the far future, because I have things on my desk right now that brings us all the way to the 4th year already. But we can't look that far, because we have to get everything that we do, it's got to be done, and hopefully 8 out of 10 successful.
So I think all the fans will be quite happy to hear that things aren't sort of day to day. There is sort of a long-term plan in place going forward. So I think that's a very positive thing to hear. So you also you've touched many times on how much this community means to the club and how much they should work together. What is the club doing, on a regular basis to sort of build the bonds with the community? What sort of stuff are we doing?
Well, I think the big handshake was the Dumbarton Rockfest.
Yes.
Right. We saw so many people that are not football fans that came here. There was 4 out of 5 when I walked the sidewalk. 4 out of 5 people were telling me, I'm not a fan. And 1 out of 5, I've never been to the stadium. Okay, so you start with that, then you're also trying to different things. Example, the global ambassador. I don't know if you're talking about that at one point, but the global ambassadors are ex-Dumbartonians.
Yep.
I like them to talk like that. Okay, and basically they're all over the world, and there are megaphones for different news and things like that. So it's not only local community, but also the influence of others that were here before, that they feed back that news also.
So perfect. So in terms of that, we were talking about ambassadors. We have the Suns player, which is launched since we last spoke, which is allowing those people from around the world to watch the games. Yeah. How important is it for these guys who have left Scotland, who are Dumbarton fans, to stay connected to the club? Because in the past, when these games weren't available, there would be not really much of a way for them to stay connected. So how important is that to you?
I'll tell you that I have a chat room with all the global ambassadors. Okay, there's only 12 right now. Okay, we're hoping for 72. one guy will say, hey, I used to go the other place, scoop under the fence. My dad would throw me over the turnstile, whatever, so that we didn't pay, and all sorts of little things like that. And one guy in Michigan, his basement is the same as here. Same colors. He's got shirts, signed shirts on the wall and stuff. So you know, you can maybe take the guy out of it, but you can't take Dumbarton out of them, you know? So and it shows, like people will say, oh, what school did you go to, and so on, and they're exchanging, and I'm reading this and I love it, because we're trying to build this community that watches, you know, the Suns player, but at the same time they're getting news, they're getting feedback. A lot of the videos that I share on my Facebook, I share to them first, just so that they feel a little bit more exclusive, you know. And
you touched on, also you had all these signed kits. We've kind of revamped the merchandise. You've also had Kyle come in. How important is it, do you feel, to get the colours out there, get people wearing Dumbarton branding? How important is that to sort of showcase the club via the fans?
Yeah, well, it's very important. I think we got one super guy doing this. Carl is unbelievable, very creative, good in intuition, and a good business guy for this. He's working on kits for vintage looks now. He's working on different things for the club as well for the next season, of course. But at the same time, we have new deals for whiskey, for rum. We have new deals for hockey jerseys. We have a bunch of things that we're doing. Where we want to get to, though, is to see the little guys with our kids, see our little guys with our hockey jerseys, see more little guys, little girls to come to our football club and stadium.
Sort of capture the next generation.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So is there any other sort of internal projects or things going on behind the scenes?
There's many.
Is there any that supporters might not know about that you could share with us at this time?
No, on March 1st, March 5th, sorry, I'll get some out. We shared a little bit of some to the sponsors yesterday, because we want the sponsors to maybe get the feeling of, oh, okay, I'd like to be associated to this or that. Just think that, you know, Mario is not from here. He's coming in with a different angle. I do things differently. I feed myself from different sports also.
Yep.
That what they've done, what was successful elsewhere, we're going to try to do here as well. And sometimes it has nothing to do with football. I can tell you there's a little fan experience mobile app that a guy in Vancouver from Dumbarton is actually finishing up for me. And that will be also March 5th. That one I can tell because I have a hard time to hold it anyway. Everybody seems to push it around. So
perfect. No, I remember you mentioned that before. So in terms of the app, I'll move on from that, but we'll announce that on March 5th. What can you tell us, and what's happening in March? Can you go into a bit of detail about what you're going to be doing?
Every now and then you have to create a crossroad purposely, so that you can pause and see, okay, where am I? We've done this travel, and where are we going this way, right? So March 5th is that crossroad. Excellent. I did it on purpose to be around the time that you have to decide when you throw in an order for the turf, let's say, the artificial pitch, which is still not at this time officialized.
Yep.
So in March 5th, we'll be able to say what is officialized, what is coming in for the new season, what are the kits, whatever, but there's all sorts of things that are coming in, not just kits. And the thing is that we want to go back and say, these are our successes, these are our failures. I'm going to fail. I'm going to have a few failures, I'm sure. And as we get to March 5th, we tell this is what we want to do for the next season. And that, up to now, it looks good. And we also have March 9th. That's going to be a big day also, because we were trying to invite the clubs of our similar size, living the same realities as us, for an evening wine and cheese or whatever, just so that we can exchange, because I find that it's to each his own a lot here, and I think that it'd be good to have exchanges of successes and failures.
And you touched on the park there. I know you were sort of looking about that today. Where are we in terms of getting the artificial pitch? Is that still aimed to come in next season, or could it take maybe a bit longer?
Look, the funny thing is that there's programs for it, and the programs have to work with a community trust. I am not on the community trust, and I'm not at the SFA either, right? So I know that these two have to get along. They have to prove they have the money, and then the other one say, okay, I'm going to get into it.
Yep.
All this right now is still slow. I don't have the patience. It's very hard for me to follow that, because I'm not used to this.
Yes.
Canada, we don't see that, which is great, because I'm telling you, if they can get this done without my input, that's even better, because like this I can put money into saving the club and doing other things instead of looking at that personally. But for our club to go back in the black, to bring it back strong on its feet, we need the artificial pitch. Yes.
Perfect. And also you're touching on speaking to other clubs who've been in similar situations. Yeah. What sort of feedback have you got from the Dumbarton fans about taking the club out of administration and what that meant to them?
For the fans, I've never had any problems. I mean, even today, I walked here, it's 8 minutes. I got stopped twice, handshake. Hey, you live around here? Oh, and so on. So one guy stopped, my last time, he stopped his car, came out of his car, came to the sidewalk, shook my hand, say thank you, and got back in his car. Do you want to lift? No, I like to walk.
How is that for you? Because that must be a sort of a new experience for you.
Oh, completely.
How have you found that?
It's hard to stay humble and keep your head small, because at one point, I'll give you an example. I walk down the hill here and I go get a pizza at Banging Pizza, and I eat there usually because I don't want to make a mess in my flat, so I just eat there. And all the time it's Mario, and then I can't pay. I try to pay, and it's no, you don't pay, nothing here. Okay, all right, but the thing is, I sat there. There was one guy that saw me in the window one time. He knocked in the window. He went inside, and then I had my pizza while he was ordering and stuff. And we talk about football for 20 minutes, but not about, this is bad or that is bad. No, about history. Why do they love the club so much? And there's so many of them that love the club so much.
And just finally, we've seen quite an uptake. We've, of course, been doing the videos like this one day with the manager and the players after match. The Facebook's really picked up in terms of the media side. What's your broader vision of how Dumbarton presents itself media-wise? What would you like to see?
More. Right now they said we hit 4 million, I think, views in the last 3 months, which is great. But the thing that I find that we're still a little bit is having, there's a goal happen, right away you have footage of that goal, you have it shared right away. And right now, I think what we see is, it's 1-0.
Yeah.
But if I compare that to a Step 2 team that I know in England, and even USL 1 teams in the United States, everything is within the moment. Yeah. And it's dynamic, it's fluent, it goes fast. So we're not there yet. We're going to get there. We're going to get. Whether sometimes it's the tools, sometimes it's not only the ambitions of doing something, but we're missing some tools or more people, just more people to help us out. The thing is, and I was saying that to Cameron lately, is that we need to hit more people with the TikToks, the YouTubers, to get more out of that, not just Facebook, because Facebook is guys of my age. Right, so we already have an aging audience. We got to attend to the others, and this is where we still have to tweak.
Yes.
It still has to be done.
And obviously Fraser Clark's coming board with experience at national level. How important is it to have a guy with that experience sort of heading things up in terms of media?
Well, I don't have to think too much about media, right?
Yep.
Because I know it's being taken care of. But sometimes I see that poor Fraser is stuck with things that are trivial, a lot of daily stuff.
Yep.
And I wish, he had a little less trivial stuff, less daily stuff, and he could look at a little bit more what others are doing to bring us to there.
Yes.
But sometimes that's why I was saying for Crossroads, I do this on purpose. Even in my other business, I do the same thing. I create purposely a crossroad so that you can sit down and say, okay, this is where I am. I was hoping to be there, but I'm here now. What stuck me here? Why am I here still? And like this, everybody in the roles here, if they do that as well, we can define the details that's missing to get better and better here and there. So Fraser, amazing kid, doing very well. But at the same time, like every other person, including me, we have to always look forward for bigger and better all the time. And that's the challenge.
And we'll just touch on some other people that have joined the club. First of all, Neil Watt, you appointed as a football advisor. Could you explain that role and what value he's bringing to the club?
So if a 19 years hockey coach tells Stevie, I don't like that, okay? Does it have the same weight as Neil Watt? I don't like that, or I like this.
Yep.
Either way, right? So that's why I needed an advisor that has that weight.
Yes.
Okay? Now, in sports, whether it's basketball, hockey, whatever sports, you can attend to characters, you can attend to attitude, you can attend to discipline, you can attend to a lot of things. But when it comes to strategy of sports, some translate a little bit, but others don't. Okay? Yes. And football is a fast sport, hockey is a fast sport, but we have less people. We don't have people for 90 minutes and so on. So it's impulsive, aggressive, and we don't have that we wait for 90 minutes to actually start running.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that happens, but what I'm saying is that we don't have that reserve.
Yes.
People go all out for 45 seconds, then they sit, and then another group goes and so on, right? So if you're looking at in between, let's say, hockey and football, well, there's basketball in between. Yes. They're 5 guys too, but they play most of a full game, and they're always going and going.
Yep.
So it's something like that. I needed an advisor so that he can translate my emotions to the coach.
Yes.
That we could have a discussion like we did on Monday, an open discussion saying what I see, what they see, what's the project, what can we do better, how do we get to it, and so on.
Perfect. So as well, there was also appointments to the sort of board, Cam Watson, Colin Hosey and Jordan Brownlee. Yeah. How important is it to have them there sort of day to day when you're obviously not here?
If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be where we are now, right? So Jordan was the William Wallace of the whole thing, because Jordan, if he doesn't sign to be a director at the time that he did,
yes,
I could not start the operations here. I could not do it because I'm Canadian and I needed a Scottish, okay? And then Jordan brings all his civil engineering, all the assets and facility that we have, it's under him. And he's done that and more.
Yes.
Now, the other two, they save your club. Yes. Because if they don't put it in administration, it goes in liquidation.
Yes.
Okay? It goes to liquidation, then trees are starting to grow, and then a guy calls the councils, oh, by the way, we're going to take it down because it's empty and so on. So those guys actually saved your team, not Mario. It's these two guys. Now, Colin, obviously an older gentleman, doesn't have the same energy level that the others have, but he's working specifically with the SFA. Yes. And specifically with projects that will be permanent projects that he said it himself yesterday. I hope I get to see this. And I said, you got a few years still, and that's important. Now Cameron is my right hand man.
Yes.
He does everything. He does more than I expected. At one point, I said, Cameron, you know, are you doing like 30 hours of volunteers? It's crazy, man. And you know, I'm in a bad position because he does much more than I anticipated, but at the same time, I think they feed from my energy, and that's cool because I like that. I like that. They hold me back sometimes. They put me to my spot because I'm thinking something that is not gonna work here in Scotland, but at the same time, we have a good synergy.
Yes.
It's going very well. And you didn't mention one guy.
Oh,
Well,
sorry.
you didn't mention. He's not a director, but John Steele,
Oh, of course.
an amazing man to bring back to the club. The guy is the true definition of a gentleman, and the way he goes at things is exactly, I wouldn't say to moderate me,
Yeah.
but to open ways of kind of making sure that I'm not too direct sometimes, that I'm not too aggressive into something. John has that je ne sais quoi that fits perfectly for what we needed, because if you look at Jordan, if you look at Cameron, at me, we're younger, well, maybe a little less me, but these guys are younger, and they have full of energy and stuff, and we might be going sometimes a little bit strong on something, and John on the other side is a guy that can actually be a mentor.
Yeah.
And that's what we needed.
Have that sort of balance.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course, yeah.
And so we'll touch on some other just aspects of the club before we finish up. There's been quite a few academies, sort of younger players who've either played some games or made the bench. Yeah. How proud does it make you to see that pathway there for young guys, maybe even from Dumbarton, to come through into the first team?
So right now, I can't say I have pride for it. I can't say, because I wasn't there for the development.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't under my watch. Right. What I know though is that to our coaches, we know that there's a gap in between U20 and men, and that gap we have to fill up.
Yes.
Okay. How do we fill it up? Sometimes the talent's there, but the character is not there. The attitude's not there. The size or physical aspect is not there yet. Okay. So right now we are meeting with other academies as well. Right. Now that Dumbarton's going well, a lot of people are knocking on our doors to say, hey, can we go under your crest as well and stuff. And this is going to happen only if I see that the players are chosen and not just signing up, but chosen, but also that they have the aggressivity and competitiveness that is necessary. Because that's, you know, if I know I'm a Canadian and I know I'm bringing in that side, but that side is important, because right now when I see football, I find that football is going a little too gentle. Yes. Okay, and not only us, but a lot of the football is going gentle, and even our older guys are having a hard time coping with that. Yeah. Like guys, old fans are going, this is not what we used to see. And I'm not going to change the game, but what I'd like to see is that a team should reflect our identity. And if we have a blue collar spirit and that we're mean and tough and hard on our physical aspects, well, that's what should our team be, and should reflect it.
And we've had this relationship with St Mirren, who are the Premiership side, with a cooperation loan. Yeah. You're talking about a pathway. Is that maybe something we would look at with a sort of non-league side to maybe get some of our younger players some first team experience?
Right now, I think once we set on the director of football, whether it's Neil Watt that decides to step up and take the job, or another person that knocks on our door, those are the kind of strategies that I'm hoping to see from that person. Because if you're asking Mario in hockey would tell you, yes, this. I know the type of characters of players that I want. I know the size of the players that I'm looking for. I know the speed that I'm looking for. Okay, I know the IQ that I'm looking for also for football.
Yes.
But the thing is that we need a strategy that comes from a football guy, because if it's a strategy from a Mario guy, you guys won't take it in. It won't be welcomed the same way, let's say.
Yeah. And we've got a women's team that is obviously playing regularly. How important is it we spoke about how young boys can aspire to play for Dumbarton. How important is it to give that opportunity to younger girls in Dumbarton that they can play for the team too?
Yeah. Right now, I think this is where I've not touched quite a lot. I see that sometimes they have a great game, sometimes they're having a tough time. I have at least 4 different people in the United States, writing to me because they have a Wales girls or a Northern Ireland girl that they are playing in the States and they want to come and play here. So that is cool. I'm starting to see that happening, and I have to be able to give not only those factors to the girls team to increase their level,
yes,
but at the same time create what we've created a little bit with the boys on the girls side. But that's a tough thing right now, because I find that there's not enough seeds in the ground. A lot of the people are ripping, the same group of people want the same, you're almost fighting for the same crowd, kind of thing.
So we'll just touch on as well the Pass It On campaign that you sort of gave birth to in the summer. How happy are you with how that went and the success that it's grown?
Well, remember when I told you I want to do 8 out of 10, and sometimes the 2 that I missed end up costing nothing, and it's okay, it's a learning curve. Well, the Pass It Along campaign is a great campaign. What it didn't take in account is that the kid is not coming because he needs his parents there.
Yes.
He needs a parent, right? And the way we structured it, going through the schools, okay, we kind of made sure that the kids that never had a chance to go to football had a chance now. They have a season tickets. But we need to find a way to structure a sponsorship so that they can come with an adult.
Yes.
Okay? And that's the problem. If you recall, we had an attendance of 701 at one point. And when I calculated everything and the away crowd and so on, I said, we're missing like 100 kids. They have season tickets, but they're not showing up. Why? Because they don't have the travel there, or they don't have the budget to. I have a few families, they told me, I bring my son, and next month I bring my daughter, because I have to spend the pie and this and that. I don't have the means to bring all of them at the same time. And that's what Dumbarton is, right? It's a 5th poorest area. So we as a club, we have to come up with solutions. We got to find those solutions.
And we'll just finish up on what are your thoughts ahead of the game tomorrow? You'll be here, of course. What are you hoping to see? Who are you hoping to sort of see? And what plans do you have for the remainder of your time here in Scotland?
Well, I'm leaving Sunday morning. Tomorrow, what I want to see is a good crowd. I want to see some sun. Usually when I'm there, it's sunny, so hopefully that's good. We got the parade going. We have veterans coming over. We have people that, and I know they're going to get this afterwards, so it's too bad. But basically, whoever comes in a uniform gets a free pass to get in. I believe there's going to be a few changes on the field. And I just want to have a win. I'm not a guy that likes to, let's get a draw.
Yeah,
it's never going to happen.
Well, thank you, Mario. Once again, it's been a pleasure to speak to you, and I'm sure everybody will be happy to see you tomorrow.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.